Live from the National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
Good evening. This is the National News Telecast. I'm Uvin Hettiarachchi.
And I'm Kasini Balachandra Adhikari. We start off with a look at your headlines of tonight.
The 77th Independence Day celebrated on a grand scale. The President states the focus is on the future, not the past, for this year's Independence Day celebration. The USA is ready for a trade and investment promotion with Sri Lanka. Ishadi Amanda back in the island after winning the runners-up title in the Mrs. World contest. A restoration project for schools in North and East from the Nippon Foundation of Japan. The new proposed tariffs to be imposed on Canada and Mexico deferred by 30 days by the USA. Dimuth Karunaratne retires from international test cricket. Now on to those and more stories in detail. On today's top story, the 77th Independence Day celebration was held today with traditional fervour under the leadership of President Anurukumara Dissanayake at the Independence Square, Colombo.
Rallying for National Renaissance has been the theme of this year. Addressing the nation, the President stressed that rather than merely reflecting on our past, this year we celebrate Independence Day looking forward to the future.
Sri Lanka Prajatantrika Samajwadi Janaraji.
After the arrival of the invited guests of honour, the 77th National Independence Day celebrations commenced. The 77th National Independence Day celebration under the theme Rallying for National Renaissance was held today at Independence Square in Colombo under the patronage of President Anurukumara Dissanayake.
Sri Lanka Prajatantrika Samajwadi Janaraji Garu Janadhipati Sannadha Seva Senadhinayaka Anurukumara Dissanayake Mehtutumage Peminima.
This year, only 1,873 Triforces military personnel took part in the Independence Day celebrations in comparison to 3,384 who participated last year, which reduced by 1,511. Prime Minister Dr. Harnyamal Surya Speaker Dr. Jagat Vikramaratne, Opposition Leader Sajid Premadas and several ministry secretaries were also in attendance at the celebrations, amongst other distinguished guests. The celebrations commenced with the President hoisting the national flag, followed by the singing of the national anthem by war heroes who sacrificed their lives for the country's independence, sovereignty and territorial integrity. The President thereafter received a Guard of Honour from the Triforces Squadron.
मातृ भूमि स्वाधीनत्वेत स्वैरी भावेत बहुमिक अखंडतावेत තිර පැවැත්ම වෙනුවෙන් තිබිපිදු සියලුම ශ්‍රී ලාංකිකින් අනුස්මරණය කිරීම සඳහා විනාඩි 2ක නිශ්ශබ්දතාවයක් සුරකිමු. ත්‍රිවිධ හමුදා සම්මාන මුරය ගරු ජනාධිපතිතුමා වෙත උත්තමාචාර්ය පිරිනැමීම.
ත්‍රිවිධ හමුදා සම්මාන මුරය ජනාධිපති සම්මාන උත්තමාචාර්ය අලයි
Following the ceremonial celebrations, President Anurukumara Dissanayake addressed the nation at the 77th Independence Day. President Sanayaka said today that all people are warriors on the same battlefield in the quest to attain comprehensive economic, social and cultural freedom. The President, in his speech at the 77th National Independence Day celebrations, emphasized that together the country will have to embark upon a journey towards economic liberation and socio-cultural emancipation, in short, towards the freedom essential for Sri Lanka to live with pride as contemporary citizens of this nation. Not only the nation must overcome the ethnic, religious and caste divisions that have long fragmented and subjugated the country as subjects, but the society must also eradicate the entrenched prejudices that exist between political representatives and the populace, between institutional leaders and their staff, between passengers and public transportation operators, between government employees and the citizens they serve, between educators and students, and so forth. The country must purify the society by eradicating these prejudices and reaffirm that human dignity, love and compassion, the hallmarks of the modern era, form the bedrock of all human relationships. Similarly, as citizens of this nation, the nation must not permit the respect or affection inherently owed to every human being to be curtailed by disability, age, illness or any other such limitation. Only when the country fully commemorates 77 years of liberation from colonialism can Sri Lanka reimagine freedom for the nation. Thereafter, according to the President, the citizens must recognize that in the quest to attain comprehensive economic, social and cultural freedom, everyone is a warrior on the same battlefield. Collectively, the society must persist in the struggle for freedom on behalf of this motherland. President Sanayaka further elaborated that in this endeavour, citizens as farmers and fishermen who sustain the nation with food, as educators who cultivate knowledge and nurture future generations, as healthcare professionals who safeguard the well-being of the people, and as members of the police and security forces who ensure the safety of citizens, bear an indispensable responsibility. Equally, those who fortify the manufacturing sector, propel our nation towards industrialization and bolster a service economy, from garment factory workers to the women who harvest tea leaves in the highlands, from expatriates labouring abroad to those striving to elevate Sri Lanka through information technology, and from advocates of the tourism industry, all play a crucial role in nurturing the motherland. In addition to secure economic freedom, rather than succumbing to weaknesses in the global economic system and being overwhelmed by its every fluctuation, the country must unite in its effort for the motherland. In the pursuit of economic liberation, all must remain steadfast, never relegating the social and cultural freedom to a subordinate position. Consequently, as artists, writers, journalists and scholars, everyone bear an indispensable responsibility to purify and rejuvenate the national spirit, which has been tarnished by hatred and anger. In this context, religious leaders have likewise been entrusted with a profound responsibility. The President stressed that similarly, as devoted mothers and fathers nurturing the future generations of this nation, the people have a vital role to fulfill. Likewise, as sons and daughters diligently studying today in preparation to steward this nation tomorrow, the society possesses a unique and crucial role. Just as the mantle of responsibility to lead the nation into the future was entrusted to the people through their sacrifices, blood, tears and sweat of those who love the country immeasurably, so too shall everyone who will bestow that honourable responsibility upon the citizens. However, on the 4th of February 2025, as commemorates its National Independence Day, 77 years since the liberation from colonial rule, the President pledged one promise to the nation. As the country bequeaths to the society, it is not merely the country that history has conferred upon the nation, but one's own homeland, a nation in which one can aspire to live as global citizens. It is a nation that reveres human dignity and embodies elevated cultural ethos. Moreover, it's a country that guarantees all the right to partake in the scientific, technological and intellectual advancements that human civilization has realized thus far as citizens of the Sri Lankan state.
The Guard of Honour parade by the three armed forces, police and civil defence forces on the occasion of the 77th National Independence Day was held today at the Independence Square premises in Colombo. It included a host of cultural events as well.
ජාතික දචයරක කණ්ඩායමයි සම්මාන පෙළපාලිය සඳහා එක්වන්නේ යුද නාවික ගුවන් පොලිස් සිවිල් ආරක්ෂක දෙපාර්තමේන්තු රණවිරුවන් 100 දෙනෙකුගෙන් සමන්විතව අභිමානවත්ව ජාතික දචය රැගෙන ගමන් ගන්න ආකාරයයි අංක 4 බලගණයට අයත් බෙල් 212 සහ ඊට පිටුපසින් බෙල් 412 වර්ග හෙලිකොප්ටර් යාන.
We are now witnessing the arrival of the Sri Lanka Army, defenders of the nation which has 75 years of glorious history, marching at the Independence Day parade.
කරගත් ජනාධිපති යෂ්ටියන් හා රෙජිමේන්තු යෂ්ටියන් පිදුම් ලබා ඇති යුද හමුදාවේ එකම රයිෆල් රෙජිමේන්තුව වන ශ්‍රී ලංකා සිංහ රෙජිමේන්තුවයි 1959 දී ආරම්භ කරන ලද ශ්‍රී ලංකා යුද හමුදා පුරෝගාමී බලකායේ 77 වන ජාතික නිදහස් දින සැමරුම් පෙළපාලිය සඳහා එක්වන මොහොත
රටවට බැඳි රන් වැට ශ්‍රී ලංකා නාවික හමුදාව 77 වන ජාතික නිදහස් දින ආචාර්ය පෙළපාලිය සඳහා සිය ආචාර්යතුමා කරන මොහොත
සමුද්‍රය ආරක්ෂාව වෙනුවෙන් කැප වූ ජනාධිපති වන්නේ පිදුම් ලද නාවික හමුදා 30 විදාන අංශයට අණ දෙන්නේ ලුතිනන්ට් කමාන්ඩර් දිනිතු නිර්මල අභියෝගයන් හමුවේ නොසැලී නිල් සයුරේ විකුමන් දක්වන ලක්මවගේ දීර්ය දියණියන්ගේ සුසැදි නාවික හමුදාවේ සියලුම අංශයන් නියෝජන විකුමතියට භාග්‍ය ප්‍රසාදනීය වේ යන තේමාව රැගත් ශක්තියෙන් නිර්භීතව ජයග්‍රහණය කරා යන තේමාව රැගත් 2016 වර්ෂයේ ස්ථාපිත නාවික හමුදා මැරීන් බලකාය අංශයේ
ලකඹර සුරකිමු තේමාව කරගත් ශ්‍රී ලංකා ගුවන් හමුදාව අභිමානින්දුව 77 වන ජාතික නිදහස් දින සමරු මුලේ සම්මාන පෙළපාලිය සඳහා එක්වන මොහොත වැඩමුළුවේ අප්‍රදේශීය සුන්දර කුණාටුවේ ශ්‍රී ලංකා ගුවන් හමුදාව පිරුම් ලැබූ ජනාධිපති වර්ණ ඛණ්ඩය දැන් පෙළපාලියේ ගමන් කරනු ලබනවා. නාටින් වෙට්‍රිකාක වඩන ශ්‍රී ලාංකීය කාන්තා අභිමානය ලොවට විදහා පාමින් ශ්‍රී ලාංකීය ගුවන් සුරකින ගුවන් කාන්තා බලගණයේ ස්ක්වොඩ්‍රන් ලීඩර් ශේෂිනී අබේරත්න පෙරට කර ගනිමින් මේ මොහොතේදී පෙළපාලියේ ගමන් කරනු ලබනවා.
அணிவகுத்து வரும் அணிவகுப்பு தொடரணியை இப்பொழுது நீங்கள் காண்கிறீர்கள். ස්කොටන් ලීඩර් ඒකක වර්ණයන් පිදුම් ලබා ඇති වර්ෂ 1962 දී ආරම්භ කරන ලද ගැමුණු හේවා බලකාය 77 වන ජාතික නිදහස් දින සැමරුම් කුලෙල සඳහා එක්වන මොහොතයි මේ. කුලෙල සඳහා දැන් එක්වන්නේ වර්ෂ 1988 දී ආරම්භ කරන ලද සමර්ථානං අතිභාරන්තං ආදර්ශ පාදේ කරගත් ජනාධිපති වර්ණයන්ගෙන් හා රෙජිමේන්තු වර්ණයන්ගෙන් පිදුම් ලද විජය බාහු පාවල රෙජිමේන්තුවයි. වර්ෂ 2007 දී ආරම්භ කරන ලද ජවයෙන් පෙරමුණට ආදර්ශ පාදේ කරගත් යාන්ත්‍රික පාවල රෙජිමේන්තුව 77 වන ජාතික නිදහස් දින සැමරුම් කුලෙල සඳහා එක්වන මොහොතයි මේ. දැන් එක්වන්නේ වර්ෂ 1980 දී ආරම්භ කරන ලද නොහැක්කක් නොමැත යන ආදර්ශ පාදේ කරගත් කමාන්ඩෝ රෙජිමේන්තුවයි. කමාන්ඩෝ රෙජිමේන්තු කණ්ඩයට අණ දෙමින් ඉදිරියෙන් ගමන් කරන්නේ මේජර් සහන් තෙන්නකෝන්. අධිෂ්ඨානයෙන් අභීතව අරමුණ කරා යන ආදර්ශ පාඩේ කරගත් ජනාධිපති රණ පරක්ෂයෙන් හා රෙජිමේන්තු රණ පරක්ෂයෙන් පිදුම් ලබා ඇති විශේෂ බලකාය විපතේදී පිහිට ආදර්ශ පාඩේ කරගත් ශ්‍රී ලංකා යුද හමුදා වෛද්‍ය බලකාය 77 වන ජාතික නිදහස් දින දැමුරුම් පෙළපාලිය සඳහා 1979 දී ආරම්භ කරන ලද හවි බලසිත ආදර්ශ පාඩේ.
Sri Lankan Navy offered the 25-gun salute, this time also in the name of the nation, on the occasion of the 77th Independence Day celebrations.
It was performed off Gulf Sea on the naval ship Sayura, and this has been a tradition performed by Sri Lanka Navy since the year 1948.
සෑම නිදහස් උළෙලක
Number 2 gun, go! Number 1 gun, go! Number 1 gun, go! Gun, go! Fire! Single order! Yeah!
Prime Minister Harinyamal Surya, in her Independence Day message, highlighted the need for an inclusive and equitable society where every citizen, regardless of background, has a voice in shaping the nation's future. Urging a commitment to deepening democracy, prioritizing economic justice and uplifting marginalized communities, the Prime Minister called for a meaningful action to build Sri Lanka.
Independence is not just about sovereignty, it's about dignity, justice and the right to a life free from oppression. Today, as we reflect on our journey, we recognize that true freedom comes from an inclusive and equitable society where every community, regardless of ethnicity, religion, caste, gender or class, has an equal stake in shaping this nation and feels valued or respected. A thriving nation, a beautiful life is not just a vision, it's a call to action. It's a commitment to a Sri Lanka where democracy is deepened, where economic justice is prioritized, and where the voices of the marginalized are not just heard but counted in decision making. It's a promise to build a country where every individual feels a sense of belonging and worth. On this historic day, let us go beyond symbolism and dedicate ourselves to meaningful change towards a Sri Lanka that truly belongs to all.
The leader of the opposition, Sajid Premadasa, says that strengthening the democracy in Sri Lanka, inherited with independence, is the country's responsibility at this moment. Issuing a message on the occasion of the Sri Lanka's 77th Independence Day, Sajid Premadasa stated, "To achieve this, let us revolve on the Independence Day to understand the present clearly, rise above divisive, caste-based religious narrow thinking and stand united."
Foreign nations also extended warm greetings to Sri Lanka on its 77th Independence Day. And as Sri Lanka celebrated its 77th Independence Day, several nations and global leaders have extended their heartfelt congratulations, reaffirming their commitment to strengthening diplomatic ties and cooperation with Sri Lanka. The United States, a long-standing partner of Sri Lanka, conveyed its greetings through Secretary of State Marco Rubio. In his official statement, he emphasized the enduring partnership between the two countries built on shared democratic values and strong people-to-people connections. He further expressed optimism about expanding trade, investment and security cooperation. In the 77 years since Sri Lanka claimed its independence, the two countries have developed a strong and mutually beneficial partnership built on the cornerstone of the people-to-people ties and shared democratic values. The U.S. Ambassador in Sri Lanka, Julie Chung, also had greeted Sri Lanka on this occasion. Indian External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar also extended warm greetings, reaffirming India's commitment to deepening the multifaceted partnership between the two nations. According to Dr. S. Jaishankar, Minister of External Affairs of India, the government and the people of Sri Lanka on their Independence Day are committed to advancing the multifaceted partnership between the people of the two countries. Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi extended his congratulatory message to Sri Lanka on the occasion of the 77th National Independence Day. The message highlighted China's continued commitment to strengthening bilateral relations and cooperation across multiple sectors. Additionally, several other nations including France, Belgium and Cuba have extended their wishes to Sri Lanka on this occasion, further reflecting the country's strong and enduring diplomatic ties across the world. The High Commission of Sri Lanka in Singapore had organized a special ceremony to celebrate the 77th independence of the country. High Commissioner Senrat Dissanayake led the celebrations, where a crowd of more than 200 joined representing Sri Lanka. Venerable Dr. Belambila Dhammaratana Thera, along with Mahasangha, was also present on the occasion. A National Independence Day commemorative ceremony had been organized by Sri Lanka High Commission in Malaysia under the guidance of the Acting High Commissioner Mohammad Rizvi. A large gathering representing the Sri Lankan diaspora, including Most Venerable Kirinde Dhammaratana Thera, was present in the ceremony held in capital Kuala Lumpur. The Independence Day ceremony organized by the Embassy of Sri Lanka in Japan was held at the Ryukasikotani Hall in capital Tokyo. The ceremony was headed by Acting Ambassador Mrs. Sesa Tambulugala. The Chief Sanghanayaka of Southeast Asia, Venerable Palpola Vipassinayaka Thera, and Chief Sanghanayaka of Japan, Venerable Banagalupatissa Thera, also participated in the ceremony. Sri Lankan High Commission in Bangladesh celebrated the Independence Day in capital Dhaka under the leadership of the High Commissioner Dharmapala Veerakudi. A gathering of Sri Lankans living in Bangladesh joined the occasion.
Since 1982, Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation has been the television channel that carried the responsibility of the Independence Day live telecast. The national television shows its live telecast among other television channels in the country. This short video is a tribute to the SLRC team who compiled the live telecast of the Independence Day 2025. who became the runner-up representing Sri Lanka in the 40th Mrs. World competition held in Las Vegas in the USA, arrived in the island today. The married beauty queen representing 40 countries participated in this competition held on the 30th of January. Ishadi Amanda arrived in the island early this morning and was warmly welcomed by the Sri Lanka Tourism Promotion Bureau. National Director of the Mrs. Sri Lanka competition, Chandimal Jayasinghe, was also present at the competition, and Rukmal Senanaike acted as the trainer of the team that represented Sri Lanka. The runner-up of the Miss World team and her team joined in the media briefing as well. Ishadi Amanda said that she believes that not the outward beauty but the inner beauty that matters. She said that she won the title due to her inner confidence. She added that she had been able to prove her beauty has not changed even after marriage and motherhood. Every woman has an inborn talent and beauty. Husband and children should support her to maintain that trait. A woman should become successful as a daughter, as a wife and as a mother. She further stated that she is mentally fit to tolerate the victory and the talents of others as well.
Individually අපි ගැහණියක් විදියට සතුටු වෙලා ඉන්න ඕනේ අපිට සොසයිටි එකේ තියෙන හැම රෝල් එකකම පර්ෆෙක්ට් වෙන්න. දුවෙක් විදියට, බිරිඳක් විදියට, මවක් විදියට මම හරි ක්වීන් කෙනෙක් වෙන්නේ අනිත් ක්වීන්ගේ ඔටුන අපි කියනවා ඉංග්‍රීසි වලින් ඇදේට තියෙද්දි ඒක හදන එක්කෙනාට තමයි හරි ක්වීන් කෙනෙක් කියන්නේ. ඉතින් මම හිතන්නේ මම මෙන්ටලි ඒ තැනට ඇවිල්ලා තියෙනවා. ඒක තමයි මගේ ලොකුම ජයග්‍රහණය.
International organization එකේ ඉන්න
Trainer of the Sri Lanka Mrs. World team, Rukmal Senanaike, said that the competitors cannot challenge a judgment given by judges of an international organization. If the competitors attempt to challenge the decision of the judge board, there would be a chaotic situation. Therefore, we as a team accepted the judgment of the board. Mrs. Sri Lanka National Director Chandimal Jayasinghe said that various posts are shared against the winner of this competition. However, he requests the Sri Lankan people, even though our contestant is the most beautiful figure, we should respect the winner of this competition. Sri Lanka team should correct their lapses and shortcomings. The Mrs. World will come to Sri Lanka in February 2026 for the World competition. This tour has been changed since the Ishadi became the runner-up in this competition. Therefore, we should respect her for her achievement in this event.
Floral tributes were offered at the statue of first Prime Minister late D.S. Senanaike at the Independence Square in Colombo today, in line with the Independence Day celebration. Former Speaker Karu Jayasuriya and several distinguished guests were presented at the occasion at the statue of garlanded by Western Provincial Governor Hanif Yusuf.
All religious ceremonies in connection with the 77th National Independence Day Sri Lanka was conducted this morning. The Buddhist religious observances were conducted at Dharmakirti Aramaya Viharaya in Polbatta in Colombo 3. Floral tributes were offered to the statue of the first Prime Minister of Sri Lanka, D.S. Senanaike. In the meantime, Hindu religious rites were held at the Mayurapati Sri Patharikal Kovil in Vellavatta today. Islamic religious programs have been observed on the occasion of the Independence Day at the Jummah Mosque in Vellavatta this morning. The Catholic Church services in the connection with the Independence Day were performed at the All Saints Church in Berala. Christian church services were organized on the occasion of the 77th Independence Day at the Presbyterian Church in Colombo 6.
Japan has granted a donation of 300 million yen to increase the capacity of garbage management system under the Clean Sri Lanka program. The relevant memorandum of understanding was signed yesterday at the President's office before President Anurukumar Dissanayake. Japanese Parliamentary Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs Sayama Akiko and Secretary to the Ministry of Finance Mahinda Sirivaratana signed it. Through this grant, 28 compactor vehicles will be provided for transport of garbage in order to increase the capacity of garbage management in the local government bodies in Sri Lanka. Out of the amount, 14 vehicles will be given to Western Province, 18 vehicles will be given to the Eastern Province and 6 vehicles for the Northern Province. Addressing the gathering, Japanese Deputy Minister Sayama Akiko stated that international investors have been attracted to Sri Lanka at present due to the anti-corruption move implemented by the present government. She added that the Japanese government is committed to extend support to Sri Lanka for this purpose in future as well. The Deputy Minister presented the congratulation message issued by the Japanese Prime Minister to President Anurukumar Dissanayake at this moment. The President thanked the Japanese government for its commitment to further strengthen to long-standing friendship between the two countries. The President stressed that the anti-corruption program implemented by the present government will be continued without any interruption. The President also expressed his gratitude to the Japanese government for restarting the stall development project implemented under the grants of Japanese government. The President also recalled the support extended by Japanese government in the debt restructuring process and the project implemented by the Japanese government in Sri Lanka. President Secretary Dr. Nandika Sanat Kumanayaka and several ministers and parliamentarians were present at this occasion.
Chairman of the Nippon Foundation in Sri Lanka, Yohai Sasakawa, engaged in a visit to Jaffna yesterday. The aim of the tour is to start a school reconstruction project there. Chairman of the Nippon Foundation, which has the leading institute in Sri Lanka to grant studies to Sri Lanka in Japan, Yohai Sasakawa arrived in the island from Jaffna International Airport. He made an inspection visit to Sri Subramaniya Ladies College in Pungathivu, and 105 schools have been constructed in the northern and eastern provinces under the financial contribution of the fund. He inspected several schools among them. He also visited the Leprosy Hospital in Jaffna. Attention was focused there on the development of infrastructure facilities of the place. It also expected to reconstruct the schools that have been damaged during the conflict of war. A sum of $9.9 million was spent. The Nippon Foundation has taken measures to implement the project from March of this year. After the completion of the tour, Japan delegation, including Sasakawa, will meet President Anurukumar Dissanayake to have a long discussion regarding the projects and the relevant ministries that are being implemented in line with the Clean Sri Lanka program. Senior Executive Director of the Nippon Foundation, Seko Masto, member of the President's Task Force for Clean Sri Lanka project, Sisira Amarabandhu, and coordinator Gamini Vela and several others were joined in the tour to the north.
Foreign news on the other side of this break.
Dua, did you brush your teeth?
Yes, ma'am. E.
Uta, is your school bag ready?
Yes, ma'am. Ready.
Did you lock the gate?
Yes.
Did you all check for dengue mosquito breeding places?
Yes.
Then good night.
Good night.
Exactly. Every day, everybody. Focus for dengue control.
Now on to foreign news. US President Donald Trump's tariffs on China begin as Mexico and Canada negotiations continue.
United States President Donald Trump warned that he would impose tariffs on China, Canada and Mexico when he won the election back in November 2024. Over the weekend, United States President took the first steps in enacting that plan, announcing a levy of 25% on Canadian and Mexican imports, as well as an additional 10% tax on Chinese goods. This sparked a global sell-off of financial markets yesterday before an agreement between Trump and Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum to halt levies on Mexican goods for 1 month brought some relief. A few hours later, last-minute call between Trump and Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau resulted in a similar 30-day delay to taxes on Canadian goods, although a US levy of 10% on Chinese imports has started today, which resulted in Beijing announcing retaliatory tariffs on a number of American products. However, the 10% tariff won't come into effect until Monday.
Former captain of the Sri Lanka Test cricket team, Dimuth Karunaratne, has announced his retirement in the Test format. The Test match, which will commence at Galle International Cricket Stadium against Australia, will be his final match. Dimuth Karunaratne has played 99 Test matches for Sri Lanka and scored 7,172 runs. After playing his 100th Test match, he will bid farewell to the international Test cricket. Dimuth Karunaratne has scored 16 centuries and 39 half-centuries so far with an average of 39.40 runs. His highest score in a Test innings is 244 runs. Dimuth Karunaratne has played his debut match against New Zealand in 2012. He is the highest scorer for Sri Lanka as an opening batsman with 7,079 runs at an average of 39.99 runs. He is the 7th player who has played his 100th Test match for Sri Lanka. Dimuth has led Sri Lankan cricket Test team in 30 matches. That's it for tonight's English News telecast. Thank you for joining us. Good night.
Good night.